G'day, Pickleball family. First thing to know as I share my screen here with you, as Season 2 of Major League Pickleball gets underway in Atlanta, things you need to know about Season 2 of MLP. First thing to know is the freeze is gone from rally scoring. In what is now the fourth iteration of a scoring system for MLP since its inception, MLP has taken away the freeze completely from its rally scoring system. From now on, the team winning the rally will score a point regardless of whether they're serving, except to win the match. In other words, the only time a team has to score on its serve is on the final point to win a match. Matches still have to be won by 2 points. For the first event in 2022, MLP froze both teams when they reached 20 points in a match, meaning they would have to score on their serve for every point won after 2020, as well as win by 2 to win the match. After that first event of 2022, MLP changed it so that the first team to get to 20 was frozen and the team behind would be frozen at 18 unless they were already at 19 points. We haven't seen anything publicly from MLP announcing the new scoring change. This has only been sent out in an email to players, owners, and team personnel. It's baffling that MLP hasn't announced this change publicly, along with some reasoning behind the change to make fans aware of what's going on. It's hard to say whether this is a good or bad without having the data behind the change. Intuitively, the removal of the freeze should lead to more upsets while still providing more of an advantage than the initial freeze at 20 scoring system did for the team that reaches 20 points first. If the goal is to allow for a few more upsets, then this change may have that effect. Second thing to know is the promotion relegation system is being put on hold for 2024. The signing frenzy and subsequent merger led to a great deal of uncertainty as to whether teams would have their full roster at every event for Season 2. Those fears appear to have been confirmed with the expected absences of Lauren Stratman and Julian Arnold in Atlanta and possibly the remainder of 2023. As a result, MLP has decided to hold off on implementing a promotion relegation system for 2024. The whole idea for 2023 was that the season-long results would determine which franchises started 2024 in the Premier Division and which franchises started 2024 in Challenger. That was going to be a big deal for teams, as being in Premier versus Challenger could have been the difference in millions of dollars for their franchise valuations. With the high stakes of 2024 being removed from the equation, the Season 2 results are not nearly as important for the team owners, and it means that we're back to MLP events being mostly about bragging rights for owners. It's less pressure overall on parties involved, and we'll have to see if that leads to a more mellow atmosphere in Season 2. There's still a lot of prize money and 2024 free agency on the line for players, so there isn't any reason that they should be mailing it in. We're a broken record on this subject, but they're going to have to settle on a format for MLP's team events sooner rather than later. Fans need to know how things are going to work if they're going to get invested. Third thing to know is that there will be players missing from the Atlanta event. Until Tuesday, there wasn't any indication that pros would choose not to attend the Atlanta event, although there was some discussion about boycotts for players at different times. It seemed like Atlanta was full steam ahead. However, we have 4 confirmed absences. One isn't by choice, and that is Mary Brashear, who is apparently dealing with an illness. It sounds like AJ Kohler is out, as he was already slated to miss Saturday due to the wedding of his sister, and now may have chosen to skip the event altogether. Julian Arnold and Lauren Stratman are the other 2 players who are choosing not to play. The Stratman-Arnold situation is very odd. There doesn't appear to be any reason that the 2 of the players that benefited most from the signing frenzy would not attend Atlanta. Most of the PPA signed players are attending, so this isn't about some kind of directive from the PPA. Although it pales into comparison to their PPA contracts, Arnold and Stratman are foregoing their appearance fee from attending MLP and the opportunity to win a good chunk of prize money. Julian Arnold made a bunch of money winning one event and the super final in Season 1, so why they would decide not to go to Atlanta is confusing. It may simply come down to the juice not being worth the squeeze, now that they will each be getting more than $500,000 annually for the next 3 years. Even so, at a minimum, you would think with the merger, they would want to avoid pissing anyone off. A mystery indeed. Number 4, you can find the team rosters on MLP's website. Sort of. MLP's website does not make it easy to track the players on each roster. They have the teams listed with the photos of each players and their dupers combined. However, if you don't know what every player looks like in a tiny image on your phone, it might be hard for you to figure out who is on which team. You have to go to each individual team on the MLP site for their roster. Number 5, you can watch the action on MLP's YouTube page, except for the Premier semi-finals and finals. If you aren't subscribed to the Major League Pickleball YouTube page, you should go and do that, as you won't have to search for the stream once you subscribe. They will have 4 courts, streaming most of Thursday and Friday, with the action starting at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can find the full schedule on MLP's website. Remember, Thursday is Challenger Round Robin Day and Friday is Premier Round Robin Day and Challenger Playoffs. The finals will be televised on ESPN2 on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, which means it won't be on MLP's YouTube page. Most Americans should have ESPN2 as part of their cable package, if you have cable, that is. The Premier semi-finals will be televised on Sunday starting at 8 a.m. Eastern. The PPA typically has simulcast YouTube streaming when their coverage is on Tennis Channel, but it's unclear if that will be the case for MLP this weekend. MLP should make this clearer ahead of time. Second thing to know as we move across to the dinkpickleball.com, basketballer Trae Young invests in Major League Pickleball's Atlanta Bouncers. Since Matty Ice left town, there's been no bigger name in Atlanta sports than Trae Young. The Atlanta Hawks point guard, who can hit a jumper from anywhere, just landed one in the pickleball bucket. Young joins the other marquee names that have invested in MLP, including LeBron James, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, and more. Young's investment is into the ownership of Atlanta's local team, the Bouncers. The Bouncers joined MLP in the 2023 expansion. Anheuser-Busch InBev was announced as the owner of the franchise and simultaneously announced an official sponsorship of the league. Young is the first investor to join the group and one that Atlanta fans can rally around. Next up on the Bouncers hit list, maybe Ronald Acuna Jr. or noted pickleball fan Chipper Jones. Of course, Atlanta hosts this week's Major League Pickleball event in Peachtree Corners, a 4-day competition spanning September 21 through 25. Drew Brees is the first high-profile athlete to make regular appearances at MLP events. With this stop in Young's backyard, we could see the Hawks superstar on the pickleball court this weekend. And if you're finding this helpful and informative, please be sure to ding that like button. Third thing to know, as shared on sportico.com, DC Pickleball Major League Pickleball team has announced they've added AARP as sponsor, joining Barstool's coffee brand. MLP's DC Pickleball team has reached an agreement with AARP to showcase the non-profit on the front of their team jerseys. The deal runs through the end of 2024 and is worth mid-six figures in total, according to someone familiar with the sponsorship. Earlier this year, DCPT signed Stellar Blue Coffee to a jersey sleeve sponsorship. Stellar Blue is a new brand from Barstool Sports, created by Dan Big Cat Katz, host of the top-rated sports podcast, Pardon My Take, and targets a much different demographic than AARP. DCPT is the third MLP team with a jersey sponsor, joining the Atlanta Bouncers, Michelob Ultra, and Miami Pickleball Club Cameo, but is the first club with sponsors for both its jersey front and sleeve. Both of our brands are very much centered around bringing positive things to the community. Adam Benke, DCPT COO, said when reached for comment regarding AARP. Pickleball hits all of the key buckets of active aging and living and social connection. Benke would not comment on any terms of the deal. AARP has nearly 38 million members. This month, MLP reached an agreement to merge with the PPA Tour. The merger was first announced in November, then stalled after a falling out between the rival pickleball leagues. There is now a binding term sheet in place, as well as a $50 million investment led by private equity firm SC Holdings, PPA Tour owner Tom Dundon, and various MLP owners. This is the first year for DCPT, which is one of 24 teams in MLP. Al Tyler and Sam Porter serve as managing partners, and the pair were the lead investors in a group that purchased a 50% stake in Liga Motocross's club Necaxa in 2021. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the US with participation at 159% since 2019. Paddles up.